Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers on the broadcast today, coming to you from the United States Senate studios. United States Senator Jacky Rosen here for the whole show on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Nevada Newsmakers Goes to Washington is brought to you by Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you. NV Energy. NV Energy proudly serves Nevada, providing electricity to 2.4 million electric customers. University Medical Center of Southern Nevada. Compassion, accountability, integrity, respect.
Big R in Sparks is located on Bering Boulevard next to Smith's and across from Reed High School for workwear and everyday wear. Evaporative coolers, outdoor living, Weber's, Traeger's, and Lodge. Fill your propane tanks here. Big R on Bering Boulevard in Sparks next to Smith's and across from Reed High School. Big R. Hardware, clothing, and a whole lot more.
Save money and take transit. Did you know you can ride the bus all day for less than what it would cost you for a gallon of gas? Plan your trip now by going to rtcwashoe.com.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, coming to you from Washington, D.C. We are delighted, as always, to welcome back to the program United States Senator Jacky Rosen. Pleasure to have you here.
Oh, it's really good to see you and have you be here with us.
Thank you. Let's start out with what's going on right now with our gaming companies and these cyber attacks. You come from a computer background. What are your thoughts, and where should we be heading with this?
Well, I can tell you I am the only former computer programmer to be in the United States Senate, so that does give me a little bit of a leg up on understanding some of these things. I've been in contact, of course, with our hotels, and I'm on the Homeland Security Committee that has oversight of cybersecurity issues, domestic cybersecurity issues. They've been working with DHS in order to figure out what happened, how we resolve it, and then how do we notify not just other folks in Nevada, but everyone else for these potential threats, and going forward, how do we prevent them? So there's an ongoing work behind the scenes I'm not at liberty to talk about, but they are working hand in hand, and it is critical to our tourism industry, to all of our businesses, that we protect our assets, and we're going to be sure that DHS works with these public-private partnerships to really bolster up our security.
One of the things that was kind of shocking was to read in the Review Journal that there was the potential in these cyber attacks to have the slot machines just start throwing out money, that everybody would be a winner, and the MGM was able to shut down the slot machines fast enough to be able to do that. That would be a scary scenario. They have $200 million in insurance, but that would disappear very quickly in that scenario.
Well, I can tell you this is why we really have to, I'm going to pivot a little bit to talk about our tech workforce, our STEM workforce, particularly in cybersecurity. There are hundreds of thousands of cybersecurity jobs open across this nation. It is one of the fastest growing industries. And so what we have to do is be sure whether you can get a certificate, 2-year degree, apprenticeship, 4-year degree, or others, that we get people into the pipeline to work on these critical programs. I have a pilot program through Homeland Security, so cybersecurity reserve program, like we have Army, Air Force Reserves, and others for people who work in private industry to help work with Homeland Security to talk about these kinds of issues, help businesses as we go out. We're doing the same thing in Department of Defense, because this is really a battlefield for bad actors, and we have to, workforce is really critical to preventing this and shoring up our own protections, whether they're for national security or our own personal security, business security. So I'm going to work on doing more workforce so we can help prevent those things as well.
Do you feel that it's like whack-a-mole, that you shut one down over here and another one pops up over there?
Well, I think what you have to realize is that technology is just moving so fast. I can tell you that Leader Schumer has done a terrific thing. You've probably read about it, having these artificial intelligence, these insight forums. And so when it comes to artificial intelligence, privacy, all of those kinds of things, we're having briefings from from industry leaders, from university professors, everyone who's telling us about what they see and what we can do to really be on the edge of regulating things, making sure we're protected. Because on one hand, you may have artificial intelligence or computers going to cure the next disease, but on the other hand, bad actors, like these ones here that have hit Las Vegas, they can be anywhere. So we have to promote all the good and protect us from the bad. We're getting educated on that, all the senators and our teams, so that we can have the framework to move forward. And I'm very excited about that. And with building out the people pipeline, telling young folks or people who want to be retrained that these are great, good paying jobs, really important, really rewarding. I worked in computers for my career. I loved every minute of it. Very exciting work. And this is how we beat this back.
All right, so what about AI keeps you up at night?
Well, I think it's not that it keeps me up at night. What we have to really do is think about the framework of how we, again, potentiate the benefits. So you think about, we're working on a cancer moonshot. My mom died of terminal cancer. I know everybody who's probably listening, cancer's touched their life in some way. So think about the ability for quantum computing or artificial intelligence to help us cure diseases. That's really great. But then, for every good thing, there could be a bad actor. This is what we have to protect ourselves against. So what keeps me up at night is being sure that we move fast enough and we're understanding we're not maybe going to be perfect, but that we have to start somewhere and we have to be nimble and continue to grow along with the industry, allowing for the good and protecting us from the bad. That's what we're supposed to do. That's what civil society is, helping us do good things and protecting us from bad things, keeping us safe, right?
All right, so one of the things that I've been really looking forward to talking to you about, and we started this conversation last year, was the Abraham Accords.
Yes.
And you went to the Middle East and did a tour earlier this year. Tell us where you went, what you saw, what you learned.
Oh, well, I don't know if you have enough time on this program, but I'll go very fast.
No, take your time, please.
I will tell you that Abraham Accords were historic. And after they were signed, I was proud to co-found and now co-lead the Abraham Accords Caucus, because we want to potentiate the benefits of the Abraham Accords and creating peace and stability in the Middle East. When we do that, it makes us all safer and really helps us all around the world. And so we led the first ever congressional delegation, bipartisan. There were 7 senators, their spouses, coming with us, both sides of the aisle. We went to Morocco, we went to Bahrain, we went to UAE, and then we went to Israel. When we talked to everyone, they were talking about how do we potentiate what they've started with President Biden that built on the Abraham Accords called the Negev Summit. These are these 6 or 7 working groups talking about education, tourism, cybersecurity, like we're talking about, healthcare partnerships. We all know from COVID, one germ can take down a whole world, right? Healthcare partnerships. Of course, our strategic military defense, but like I said, energy. This is another great area. Energy, water, solar, becoming energy secure. Each country was so excited about the building on these partnerships from the grassroots. Particularly, we're in Nevada. We know about water shortage, and we know about solar. And so there's some projects going on that they're going to build water desalination plants, sending water to some countries. I think Israel's going to build a desalination plant, sending water to Jordan. Jordan's going to build solar plant, sending power to Israel, funded by the UAE. These are the kinds of projects that our civil society really benefits from, that people's partnerships, friendships thrive on. And if we do that, we'll be able to broaden our allies and partnerships. We just recently introduced a bill to create a special envoy to, again, potentiate the Abraham Accords and what it means when our allies and partners, when we work together on common issues like water, solar, cybersecurity, and defense, what it means to our safety and our democracy.
Okay, and of course, I'm sure the topic of Iran came up.
Yes.
So what can you share with us about that?
Well, I can tell you that everybody's worried about Iran because we know that Iran is the leading state sponsor of terrorism around the world. They work through their proxies. They're in Africa. They're going through the Middle East. They're going to other places. So, of course, we're bonded together to stop Iran. And right behind them, China. And so we have to think about that. It is top of everybody's mind. We did have a good bill that's come out of this last visit called the Maritime Act, working with the Naval Command, Central Command, and Fifth Fleet, how we work on piracy and protecting the waters all around the Middle East. Of course, those technologies are going to come out to protect us around the world. Last year we did a strategic air and missile defense partnership. These are the kinds of things that protect everyone in the region. And I would argue by protecting the region, we're protecting America and keeping the world safer and building friendships.
All right, so that takes us, of course, to Saudi Arabia and the current discussions.
Yes.
So where do you stand on this? Because, I mean, one couldn't have imagined this 50 years ago, that Saudi Arabia and Israel would be potentially working together. What are your thoughts on the possibilities of what the administration is trying to do actually happening?
Well, I think the possibilities of what the administration is trying to do, we think about, like I said, the Abraham Accords kind of an entry into this. People seeing the power of the partnership in just not just defense, but in so many other areas. And Saudi Arabia joining potentially this partnership or some other kind of agreement couldn't be more critical. Now, I haven't seen any text. I know that a State Department and the President have been talking with everyone, so we'll wait to see what they come up with. I know they'll be bringing some of that to Congress as they get a little bit further along. But again, these partnerships strengthen our position in the Middle East, strengthen our resolve against Iran, China, North Korea, and Russia, and just make us stronger, our democracy stronger. So we'll wait to see the text, and then you come back and we'll have a good chat about it.
All right. What concerns do you have about the potential for a civilian nuclear program in Saudi Arabia that some say could lead to something more lethal?
Well, I think that we have to, the devil's in the details. We have to really look at that. Again, I haven't seen any text. So are they going to use nuclear for some kind of a domestic energy? What would be guardrails or guidelines if they were to have that? Would we have people on the ground? The devil on those things is in the details. Until there's the details, the rest of it, I guess, is gossip. And so I'm going to be speaking with State Department as they get a little bit closer. We'll hear what they have to say, what they're thinking about, and based on that, we'll be able to voice our concerns or our support.
How much does what happened to the Washington Post reporter play into this? Because it seems that in every discussion about MBS that comes up. Is that something that you see as a roadblock or something that can be worked through?
Well, I think that we do have to find ways to work through things in order to keep the region safe and keep us safe. Again, how they negotiate any treaties, agreements, whatever those might turn out to be. Again, we don't have anything from the White House or State Department yet for me to comment on or react to, but it is important that we do hold people's feet to the fire in human rights areas and some others. So again, I'm just hoping that the State Department will be coming down, giving us a briefing where they're at now, so that here in the Senate we can weigh in and have our voices heard on what we think. If there's anything, what we think we need to do, what our role is, particularly if it's going to be a treaty of some kind and we're going to have to vote on it.
All right, let's take a break. We'll come back much more with United States Senator Jacky Rosen after this time out.
The Nevada Builders Alliance has been protecting the interests of the construction industry for over 50 years. Our programs save members thousands of dollars every year and allow them to provide much-needed benefits to their employees. Our industry also allows Nevada to grow. If you're thinking about a career in the construction industry, reach out. And if you haven't thought of a career in construction, what are you waiting for? We are the Nevada Builders Alliance.
What do you count on? You count on your power every day. At NV Energy, we've always powered what's important to you, but we're not looking at the past. We're focused on the future. While our standards are high, our rates will remain low. And our commitment to renewables isn't just meeting standards, but leading the way. Because you can count on more than just your power. You can count on the company who brings it to you. That's our promise. You can count on it.
Early in the morning or throughout the night, professional truck drivers are on the job, serving you, safely moving freight that's crucial to our economy. From the oldest industries to our newest innovators, from the exotic to the everyday. Trucks are everywhere, moving everything. Never afraid to embrace a future that makes Nevada and our nation stronger. Trucking moves America forward.
Pro Group Management is the place where companies can find workers' comp solutions that are designed to meet their specific business requirements. As regulations evolve, Pro Group takes a proactive approach to clear the path to make sure your business stays ahead of the curve. Knowing your workers' comp program is optimized, you can focus on other important matters related to your growing business. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, coming to you from the United States Senate studios here with United States Senator Jacky Rosen. What were your thoughts on the fact that President Biden is meeting with Prime Minister Netanyahu not at the White House, but outside of the White House? Normally, you would have a White House visit for the Prime Minister of Israel.
Well, I think they're both there in New York in the United Nations, and so they're there together. Their schedules are very busy. I know that they've talked quite often as world leaders, and so it's probably the most convenient since they're both there in the same place.
But it sends a big signal, though, right?
Well, I'm not sure if it sends a big signal. I know President Biden speaks with Prime Minister regularly. You see that in the news, and they happened to both be there, so it was a good time for them to sit down together, have these important conversations that world leaders do in the United Nations.
What do you think about what's going on between Netanyahu and his associates in the parliament and what's going on with the Supreme Court there?
Well, those are internal matters to Israel. Of course, Israel is the only democracy in the Middle East. They need to hold up their democratic principles. But just like our country and others, those are internal issues. They have to continue to work those out. We see the protests every week from Israeli citizens talking about some of the issues that they're concerned about, whether it's the Supreme Court or others. And these are issues for the Prime Minister and his government to try to work together on and find their resolution. Of course, we have our opinions, and we're entitled to those. But we're not elected to the Knesset. We're not Israeli citizens here. We talk with them in a diplomatic fashion about what it could mean around the world, what signals it could send. But at the end of the day, they control their democracy.
Do you think that we're eventually going to see from this government a two-state solution for the Palestinian situation? And in part because of Saudi Arabia's involvement in these talks.
Mm-hmm. Well, the two-state solution is what we've always advocated for, and it is what will maintain a democratic Israel and a future for a Palestinian state. So I think it is always what we have to work on. It is important to everyone in the region, and I would argue to the world. And so this is my goal in every way, and everything I've always talked about way before I came to Congress, a negotiated two-state solution, one that both parties can live with, one that people in the region can live with. This is what we must do. And we hope that the Prime Minister is able to work with that as we talk about maybe a deal with Saudi Arabia, a treaty, or whatever those things are, improving and enhancing the Abraham Accords. all of the things that we're going to be able to do there through those kinds of partnerships, maybe welcoming other countries. And there's a lot of discussion going on, and we hope it just moves it all forward.
All right, let's take another break. Back with Senator Rosen after this timeout.
It's the $100,000 Cash is King Progressive giveaways at Carson Valley Inn. Giveaways every Saturday with a Progressive up to $20K and $15,000 in guaranteed grand prize giveaways. There's another 100,000 reasons to play and win at the Carson Valley Inn.
Remember 2010 in northern Nevada, 13 to 14% unemployment, thousands of homes in foreclosure, Nevada's casinos closing? Families in the Reno-Sparks area were hurting. Many were losing everything. Then Story County launched a game changer for our region, a public-private industrial partnership, streamlined permitting, slashed bureaucracy, attracting Fortune 500 companies that made Nevada their home. Story County generated a river of cash to area communities. Economic studies by the state and others for the Gigafactory consistently show positive economic benefits for our region. $4 billion in local wages, $17 billion in consumer spending and economic activity, over $100 million in taxes to Washoe, Story, Reno, Sparks, and Nevada, just for the Gigafactory alone. Story County, improving northern Nevada one industry at a time.
It's a good time to eat. It's a good time to play.
It's a good time to win.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with United States Senator Jacky Rosen of Nevada. Brightline hoping to break ground later this year. If you'll pardon the pun, you're quoted as saying, the minute they get on that train, they begin their vacation experience. That's going to be a real game changer for tourists in Nevada. So tell us why.
Oh my goodness, I just want to tell you, I'm so excited about Brightline. And so what I want everyone to know is that before 4 years ago, when we took back the Senate majority, there wasn't a specific committee in Commerce that just focused on tourism. So I advocated for a tourism subcommittee. It's called Tourism, Trade, and Export Promotion. And of course, I'm proudly the chair of that subcommittee. We've passed a lot of great packages out of there. I'm glad to come back and talk about them. But in the bipartisan infrastructure law, we allocated funds for high-speed rail. Now, Nevada, we've been trying to do high-speed rail between Los Angeles and Las Vegas for years. Why is this time different? Because we have every permit, every agreement with our unions, all of the land purchase. We are shovel ready and ready to go. And so what's it going to do? It's going to bring all those tourists to Nevada, taking congestion off the I-15. We know what that's like. Then we know what a parking lot it can be until we widen it and how people sit there for hours. But let me tell you, as chair of the tourism subcommittee, we know that for every vacation or even a business trip like you're here, it starts the minute you leave your home with your suitcase or your carry-on, whatever that is, your backpack. And so when they get on that train, that 2.5-hour train, I'm sure there'll be big screen TVs with everything else and food and cocktails. Their vacation begins. They get near the Las Vegas Strip. They're ready to go to a show. Well, maybe Beyonce, Taylor Swift, a Raiders game, hey, we got the Stanley Cup champions, right. WNBA is I think they're in the championship rounds now. And so it's just going to alleviate traffic. The tourism experience is going to expand, and then just bringing more people, which, of course, great for our economy. It's jobs, 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 boosts our economy, takes emissions and traffic off the I-15. We hope to hear about it soon. We've allocated that money. I have led the charge through my committee, and let's say this. I've been speaking with Secretary Buttigieg regularly to be sure that we hear it right away as we get that announcement a little bit later this fall.
What's your confidence level on a scale of 1 to 10?
Well, it's pretty high. It's pretty high because why? We're going to be successful from day one. We're shovel ready. It's public-private partnership. So all the private money, everything is done. Good-paying union jobs, I think about 30,000 jobs, billions of dollars of economic impact. It's all done. ready to go. They want to open, I think, 2027, early 2028. So that's number one. We're ready to go. And number two, the demand for people to come to Las Vegas, we know how great it is. There will be a person in every seat. Those tickets will be sold every week. We will be successful, and we will be the model of how trains in the West Coast can really help move people around.
I think that the fact that Brightline is already successful in Florida is a really good thing, rather than a company that has never done this before trying to make it work. What do you think about Ivanpah, the Ivanpah Airport? They say that they'll run out of space in 2037. I'm sorry, in 2030, but the new airport won't be ready till 2037. Do you have a response to that?
Well, I think that all the stakeholders, Harry Reid Airport, the County Commission, others have been talking about ways to alleviate the stress, moving cargo off and other things, because we want to get, again, our tourists key to our economy. Everything, everything rises and falls on that. That's the top 1% of our business. Of course, 99% of other business in Nevada, small business, but it rests on a tourism economy. So being sure that we can build as much tourism right there at Harry Reid International Airport, maybe moving off some other things that might be a potential solution going forward. And there's other ways to do that. There's a lot of negotiations, thinking about what's smart, going to boost our tourism. Of course, this train's going to help, because why? People who might not fly, they don't want to drive, they can just hop on that train. I think it's 2.5 hours each way. That'll be a great way to get people to Las Vegas, and we'll just keep those trains running. How's that?
That sounds good to me. Well, that's where we have to leave it. Thank you so much for doing this, as always.
Of course.
And we look forward to talking to you next year. Thank you.
Thank you. Good to see you.
And you too. And we'll be right back.
As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
Modern boutique Ahern Hotel and Event Center sits at the heart of the Las Vegas Strip. 2 floors of meeting and event space are ideal for groups and conventions. Stay in one of 200 luxurious rooms and suites. Brand your event throughout the property. Flexible event spaces make for easy planning and personalization. Take over the entire hotel with a full buyout option.
Nevada Newsmakers Goes to Washington is brought to you by Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you. NV Energy. NV Energy proudly serves Nevada, providing electricity to 2.4 million electric customers. University Medical Center of Southern Nevada. Compassion, accountability, integrity, respect.
Thanks for watching Nevada Newsmakers, coming to you from the United States Senate studios here in Washington, D.C. We'll see you on the next broadcast. Thanks for watching and listening.